Friends, my name's Derek Tay. Welcome to the second night of the Mid-Atlantic Nostalgia Convention here in Aberdeen, Maryland, Clarion Hotel. Today's Friday, September 19th, 2008, and we have a child actors panel today. We want to welcome John Provost and Margaret Carey, and we want to thank Sam Sessa of the Baltimore Sun. There's a nice article about this convention, and there's John Provost and our other guests, Ed Burns and Larry Storch. And the subheadline, we're here to dispel two urban legends that both of our guests have. First, Margaret is going, this woman here is the original model for Tinkerbell. It wasn't Marilyn Monroe, like a lot of people think. We'll talk about that. And the subheadline was, this Timmy's out of the well in Aberdeen for a convention of nostalgia. And you have the book that you're selling across the way, Timmy's in the Well Again, Lassie, that your autobiography, right? But there's some urban legends with television, okay? Johnny Carson never said move the cat to Raquel Welch. Joan Crawford never played the devil on a Batman episode. Captain Kirk never said beam me up, Scotty. And Timmy never fell in a well.
And he never said play it again, Sam, right? No, but it's true. Timmy never did fall in a well, and we really don't know where that came from. When we were researching the book, we actually, because I thought I had fallen in a well on Lassie. I fell in everything else, you know, abandoned mine shafts, into caves, off cliffs, into rivers, into streams, into culverts, quicksand, you name it, but never a well. And so when we were researching, we actually read the synopsis for over 250 half-hour episodes, because when we were filming the series, on a given day we might be filming from 3 different scripts. So
maybe Jeff fell in the well.
Well, we did find when Tommy was doing the series, when Jeff had Lassie before me, there was an episode that I found where there was 2 bad guys that were on the Martin farm, and one of them fell into an abandoned well, and Lassie had to go get help, and then the guys got arrested. You know, but that was the only thing we ever found.
Okay, so you're rolling with it. You're
okay.
Good-natured about it.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. And the reason that the title of the book is that Timmy fell in the well, Timmy's in the well, is, you know, it's my life story, and I think everybody has bumps in the road during their life, or you know, you fall in wells and you have to get out of them, and you know, that happens a couple times. So it just it had to be the title of the book.
Tell us your joke about the pit bull and the collie.
Oh yeah, what do you get when you breed a pit bull and a collie? You get a dog that rips your leg off but goes for help. And we have, there's the official Lassie salute.
Tolan of old-time radio fame, I'm borrowing his line. He was the one that said that you work with probably Hollywood's greatest female impersonator.
Exactly. Lassie is the most famous Hollywood female impersonator.
So Lassie was never a girl dog.
All the Lassies since Pal, the original Lassie and Lassie Come Home, was a male, and Red Weatherwax all the Lassies have been males. The original dog that was in Lassie Come Home was a female. And Red Weatherwax had the stand-in, or double dog, as you will. And there was a problem with the dog, and the director said, well, can your dog take over? And of course, Red said, well, yeah. And he did so well that they actually ended up reshooting all the footage that they had shot with the other dog. And then from that day forward, it was all Weatherwax stuff.
Gee, I had that happen to me.
What?
Well, they brought in somebody else, and they were much better than I was. I was only 4 at the time, so it didn't really color my career.
Is there a reason why I have a book that you want to hold up here with you and Lassie, a storybook from the Whitman company that put out these novelizations? Is there a reason why your episodes particularly have endured more so than the Jeff's Collies, and the ones where Lassie was with the forest ranger, and the one where Lassie was like a fugitive just wandering the West.
Right, or Lassie is the cartoon. Yeah, well, I think the main reason is when Tommy did the series, he did the series for 3 years. I did the series for 7 years. And so just the longevity of it, being in your living room, that many more times. And I think that's one of the reasons that people really remember this more than the Tommy. But, I mean, Tommy's were great. I love his shows. I used to watch the show, before I was on it, because I had done movies, but not very little television before Lassie, but mainly movies. And, Tommy was great. Tommy was a great actor. He was just a cute little kid.
Now, there was actually like half a season where you two crossed over, and
right.
How did the transition happen? Why did Tommy Reddick decide to move on? Did he get too big for the part, or?
Yeah, Tommy was hired when he was 14, and which was a real mistake, I think, by his producers, because you got a kid right now, he's starting to go through puberty, he's growing up, he's going to change. And over those 3 years, Tommy, took off, and he was 17, and he wanted out, really. He wanted away from that series. So he was very happy to give me Lassie. And so when they introduced Timmy, who was a runaway, Lassie found me hiding in the barn, and the family just took me in, his mom and Gramps. And so we did about a half a season together. And then Tommy left to go to college, to go away to go to school, gave me Lassie. Gramps died, his mom had to sell the farm, and she sold the farm to the Martins, and the Martins, when they bought the farm, in the escrow it said they get the dog, the kid, and the tractor.
Where were the social service people?
So were you ever officially adopted by June Lockhart and with the father's character? You something?
Hugh Riley.
Right.
No, Timmy was never adopted. In the 7 years that I was on the show, I never had a birthday. I went to school, but they never said what grade I was in. So they really just left that open to the viewers. And the same thing with Calverton. Calverton, where we live, is this mythical town. Never said what state we were in. Obviously it looked as though it was the Midwest. But they didn't want to, I don't think they wanted to pin things down. They just kind of wanted to leave things open.
Now, the two mothers on the show, one was Cloris Leachman, and then it was June Lockhart. Those are two grand dams who are still going strongly.
Oh yeah, well, and Cloris, I just saw Cloris about...
She's going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
I know, can you believe that? 82 years old. I just saw her about 6 months ago. The Academy of Television Arts and Sciences had a special award ceremony for mothers of television, famous mothers. And June couldn't make it, and I'm not for sure why, but they had Cloris, and then all the mothers were surprised by their children, their TV children. And so I surprised Cloris, and we had not seen each other in 50 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This business.
Yeah.
That's his business.
Mm-hmm.
But it was great. I mean, we had here, just a little quick note. For the book, we interviewed tons and tons of people, contemporary child actors, that I worked with, and just so you get a different feel. And of course, June Lockhart and John Shepard, who was the other father. But we tried to get in touch with Cloris for the book to interview her, and I mean, over like a couple of years of time. And kept contacting her agent and her manager, and never got a response. And that was the only way we could get to her. Never did. So when we were at this event, we went up to her new manager, who happens to be her son, and said, God, we tried for years we wanted to interview Cloris for the book. And he said, well, why do you think I'm her manager now? The guy never told her that I was trying to get in touch with her.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's not like, just some Joe off the street. I'm sorry.
Some managers might think that it's not worth,